face of boxing.
Yeah.
I hear fighters, and I've heard of, really I'm not sure if I've heard that before Mayweather's era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe that's really the first time I may have heard. I may have heard Roy maybe say something like that, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna just start this one off. I struggle with one person saying that they are the face of boxing because typically if that person is that big, even when Floyd was the face of boxing, and you let Floyd tell it, he's still the face of boxing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's hard because it's like, bro, you fight 1 or 2 times a year.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying. Like I generate the most. When you think about the sport, you probably think about me first. I understand that. But if it's just you, when you're not fighting them other 10 months out the year, or maybe if you fight twice a year, them other 6 months out the year, who else is standing the sport up?
Yeah, who's holding it down?
You know what I'm saying? You got guys that ain't superstars, but they stars. Then you got guys maybe below them that's like, man, he a big name in the sport, maybe a few casuals. No, you got different levels of notoriety.
Yeah.
These guys are standing up the sport too. So that's kind of how I feel about that. If I had to say who is the face of boxing now, I think the face of boxing is a two-headed monster right now. I think it's Gervonta Davis. You cannot deny what he's done.
Yeah.
You cannot deny what he generates, and you cannot deny the performances.
Yeah.
And you also cannot deny what Canelo Alvarez has done for a very long time.
That's a fact.
I think one thing they both got in common is Gervonta had Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather gave a cold alley-hoop to Gervonta. Gervonta took the alley-hoop and took it to the next level.
Yeah.
If you look at the history of Canelo Alvarez and Oscar De La Hoya,
De La
Canelo
Hoya.
Alvarez had an amazing alley-hoop from Oscar De La Hoya, the biggest fighter in the game at one point in time, and the biggest Mexican fighter since, before Canelo came along. Oscar was in that position for a long time. He got Canelo at the press con. Hey, this is my fighter, Canelo Alvarez. Plus, you got a whole country behind you that's rich in boxing history.
The new golden boy.
But you got to give both of those fighters credit because they took the alley-hoop and they did something with it. A lot of fighters fumble the bag or they fumble the alley-hoop, they fumble the ball. They didn't do that. So I think that the face of boxing thing is an interesting conversation. When you hear face of boxing, is it one person? Is it multiple people? What's your thoughts on that?
It's like asking me who was my favorite R&B singer. Listen, and I love R&B, right? If you tell me only one person can exist, I'm gonna tell you I'm not picking, but it's not happening. That's the same situation here, man, because there's too many factors involved, right?
Yeah.
Who's putting the most butts in the seats, right? Who's performing every time they step up to the plate, right? Who's getting paid the most, right? Who's being talked about the most?
You never really gonna know what somebody's making.
Yeah, exactly. But who's dominant all the time? It's like, it's a lot of factors involved. And maybe when people say face of boxing, that's what they mean. They may mean all of those things or just a few things. Because this is why fans are fickle. They got a way of seeing what they like, and that's their face of boxing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
that's the problem with this. That's the problem right there. And those factors, regardless of what you say, are at play, right? So we got to look at it like that.
Do you like that conversation? And then if so, the face of boxing conversation, and if so, who is your face?
I mean, I definitely like the conversation. I mean, I don't think there's a face. I'm in the same playing field. Because we're talking about the fight game. The fight game, you got spectators, of course, from all over the world. And you have people that think their face of boxing is, who they choose and who they pick. Of course, I love a discussion about, the Tank and the Canelo. I being what I believe probably the true faces of boxing right now. When you talk about the attention that they get when they have fights announced and people actually coming out and selling out these arenas in all the anticipation to sit there and watch them fight. It doesn't matter if there's a big fight or not. They're coming out to watch Tank fight. It doesn't matter if Canelo's fighting, whoever. They selling out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you take guys like that, it's hard to try to take that, that position away from them.
When I think of the face of boxing, I think about Canelo Alvarez. I think about Gervonta Davis. But then you also can't leave out Terrence Crawford.
For sure.
So you may go and compare social media. My social media better. Okay, I may sell a little bit more, but this person's selling too. It may not be as much. It's a tough conversation, bro. So I think there's names. I think there's faces of boxing. But I do understand the argument that Tank got and that Canelo had. They said, man, I'm generating the most. I've been here the most. I understand that. But I think really it's out of maybe them three.
Yeah, I think out of those three, man. Terrence definitely, I say especially within this last, 2-3 years, has really been, just making his mark on being, one of the best in the world. Not, he may be the best in the world right now.
I think another interesting thing, and again, this is why we are doing these kind of shows right here, and we're gonna do many more. Yeah. Because I see how the sport is covered. First, you had the print writers, right? The LA Times, the Yahoo, I can go on and on. The New York Times. I can go on and on about in our day. Yeah. Right. These were the guys that was pressing, trying to get interviews, and we had to figure out, okay, is this guy for me, or is he cool? Is he gonna give me a fair shot? Then it went from that to the internet game, like Boxing Talk. Boxing Talk was heavy.
Yeah.
With Greg Leon, we was coming up. Everybody going to Boxing Talk to get the latest headlines. Then it shifted from that and Fight Hype as well in the print space. But then that shifted from that to the video space. Attention spans got shorter. And nobody want to read no more. We just want to consume the content visually and audibly. And where's the state of the game in terms of how it's being covered right now? Do you like it, the direction it's going with the YouTubers and people everywhere you go, they got a camera phone, they got a tripod. Hey, champ, can I get a few? How you feel about the state of the game?
I think it gets, really messy. Especially we talk about us. Like I said, we're lifers in the game. We understand every aspect of this game. You know what I mean? From the training camps, from the from all the pains and the hurting and actually making that walk to the ring. You know what I mean? Gloving up and making it happen and performing in front of millions of people. So we automatically have a different type of perspective from it. Of course, we can't stop the internet from doing what it's going to do. Right. And it's going to do what it do. And it's going to give everybody a position to speak. But like I say, that's what's great about this situation that we're doing right now, creating a real, like boxing hub. Guys that really speak boxing, that really understand this language. Like I said, we're part of this fraternity for real. You understand what I'm saying? We just not talking about it. We just not sitting back, just getting our thoughts off. Like we've been in the trenches for years. You understand? At the highest level. So our conversations will be different. Our conversations with other people, or even our conversations with each other, are going to be completely different. And I think the true fight fans out there, they're going to appreciate it.
And it's a safe space too.
Yeah.
Even the feature we just did with Terrence Crawford. Yeah. I know for me, you'll get a lot out of me. You get a lot of mileage out of an interview with me if I know it's a trusted.
That's a fact.
Very few people that I can trust in that space.
That's a fact.
Right? I know how to be polished and just, I'm gonna let you know as much as I want you to know. Yeah. Or me just having a conversation with another brother in the game that I feel like, man, let me, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna reveal this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let them know how I really feel.
And that's the thing. We have a lot of these talks. You know what I'm saying? Like
offline,
as brothers. It's a lot of conversations that we have about the fight game, period. If it's making weight, if it's training, if it's this, is that. And we just have these conversations.
Right, but like, so real quick, back to the Crawford situation. To your point, me and Crawford have had many conversations offline.
That's a fact.
We just both agreed to bring it in front of the camera.
Yeah, that's right. There it is.
That's all you got to see. So for a fan, it's like, man, bro, like I've never seen him open up like that. And that's because it's a camaraderie there and we've been building for years.
That's right.
So that's what we're doing here. Yeah. And that's what this is about. It's not about an agenda. See, I don't mind the YouTube space.
Right. Yeah.
I don't always want to read a print article. Like I appreciate visuals too. Like sometimes I'm in my car, I have a YouTube on and I listen. Right. What I don't like and what I don't appreciate and what I think we shouldn't stand for is YouTubers. Yeah. I don't care who you are, how long you've been in the game. Yeah. When you start beefing with another fighter,
that's crazy.
Like that's crazy work.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like when somebody knows like, oh, he don't like so and so, and you're constantly saying derogatory, disrespectful, aggressive things toward a guy.
They're out there.
A guy who fights for a living.
Yes,
that don't seem right to me.
That's crazy.
That's a problem. Like you are a guest in this house.
Yeah.
You a guest in this house. Like you didn't grow up here
at
all. We accepting you in this house. Not saying you say something.
Yeah.
You got to keep it real too.
Right.
I think you got to do that too. But it crosses over from, man, I'm just being honest to my personal feelings about you. And that's where I think they cross the line.
You got to be validated, right? To have an opinion as strong as the hate that's coming out here. Like from these nobodies who never boxed a day in their life. They just always had a love for the sport. Where I love this game. Once I retired, one thing I realized is I still love this game.
Of course.
And it's up to us to help cancel out the noise of all of the rest of these people out here who's just speaking off of hate and the fact that they're going to get likes, views, and likes.
And make a little money.
Exactly, and make a little money off of the content, right? So boxing is always going to be there. I don't think it's going to be, listen, just like there's not a barrier to entry in this sport. You can be a trash man today, a professional fighter tomorrow. It's going to be the same situation when they come to these podcasts and people jumping on the scene because they feel like they can, right? It's up to us to help shut them up and speak up, to take over and let them know what's really going on in this boxing game.
I don't think you have to have fought to be able to speak about the sport. I think that's unfair.
I do.
Sure.
And I've heard that too.
It is what it is,
fans or fight. A lot of fighters, man, you ain't never fought before.
Yeah.
But you can't be a guy who hasn't fought and never got punched in the face, but then you're derogatory and disrespectful and you throw somebody under the bus with some crazy commentary. That's the part where you cross the line. You can say, man, hey, the performance wasn't great. Hey, you got to do better if you want to fight this guy. That's an all-fair game, and the fighter's skin got to be tougher.
That's a fact.
But that part ain't cool.
And
I think for us and for this type of platform, I don't think it's about shutting those guys up. I just think it's about elevating the conversation where people can decide, you know what, this conversation is a lot different than that conversation. And that's going to weed out a lot of the foolishness and a lot of the other stuff. We're going to continue to have dope conversations. We're going to continue to do it with class and integrity. And this is going to be a safe space for fighters to come out here and really control the narrative.
That's a fact.
So, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and just sitting in with us. With some boxing brothers sitting here having some high-level conversation, man. We appreciate you. ATS Fight, we out.
Let's get it.